Everyone's favorite mushroom-loving Devonite rockers are back. Muse have released a brand new single called Unravelling, which is the first single, I believe, that's going to be on a new album cycle. In fact, Matt tweeted last week or something like that saying, like, we're back at it again or something like that. So I'm assuming this is new album cycle territory. In fact, the last one we had was 3 years ago now. Man, time goes quickly. Will of the People, which... well, let's put it like this. It's been a minute since I have been, like, really engaged with Muse. The last album I, really liked was Drones, and in typical Muse fashion, not every song on that album is amazing. I'm very fond of it. It hit at a particularly good time in my life. I was at the sort of, middle of my university experience when it all came out, so we're all into it simultaneously. But there are some songs, looking at you, Mercy, that, stray into maybe the cheesy side of things, but I still really like that album's great. I saw them on that tour. It was awesome. I've got it on vinyl. That's a great album. Obviously, pre Drones, second law, they were really consistent. They really, really were. And then, I don't know, I just sort of fell out with them during the Simulation Theory era. Almost every album they've released has got at least a song I like on it. Simulation Theory, I really like Break It To Me. That song is so weird. And it's got a kind of slightly sort of shuffly groove to it that I find quite appealing. That song was good. Thought Contagion was okay. I think that's the one that has Terry Crews fighting aliens or something like that in the music video. I now don't remember. And then they released Will of the People, which I actually, this is probably a bad confession, I don't think I listened to that album the entire way through. I listened to, in fact, I really like the song Will of the People, the opening track on this one. I know that song quite well. Even though I think I was initially caught by a fascination with it because it has this kind of weird relationship with Beautiful People, the Marilyn Manson song. It's just the way that the refrain goes. And that's the only thing it has in common. But it's almost like a kind of yin to the yang, the good cop to the bad cop of that kind of that idea. But anyway, so my point being, it's been a minute since I've fully engaged with Muse, even though I have seen that they were being quite militant with touring at the moment. I think I haven't heard this in a minute, so if I get this slightly wrong, sorry, but I think I heard that with the whole thing of Dave Grohl being, having infidelity, shall we say, and sort of Foos going on hiatus and cancelling their shows, I think Muse got drafted in to cover a few of their slots over the course of this kind of festival weekend, which is probably quite good for them. But so they've been around for a while. So apparently they've been playing this song live in Finland and wherever they've been touring recently, a few times recently. So let's just jump in. There's only a lyric video, but that's fine. I'm sure we're going to get something very bizarre and high concept music video wise at some point in the future, because it does feel a little bit like Matt Bellamy lost his G-dang mind somewhere in a rave in a desert somewhere whilst having many, many mushrooms a while ago, and now that dude is a very, very genuine soul. It feels like everything he does, he really believes in, which is, it's definitely an admirable trait, but it does also mean occasionally I feel like somebody should tell him no. So we'll see whether or not Unravelling lands on one side or the other. I'm sorry if I've just managed to alienate all the Muse fans here. I am a Muse fan, I promise. So without any further ado, let's have a listen to Unravelling. Aha. Many, many synths already, but I will say that tone of that synth is really nice already. It's looking like it's going to be slightly more than just a lyric video. It's going to have some fun visual components, I guess, which is good. An insect trapped in amber, I'm fading pools. Okay. I like the sort of, it's definitely more than a lyric video. I like the kind of dragging slightly, it's not out of time, it's just got this weird sort of way that the melody falls over the beat, so that synthesis, it's actually some really clever time signature bullshit going on, which if I was a drummer or a keyboard player, I'd be able to explain to you better. But god damn it, I hope I don't ruin this for you all now, but somebody pointed out to me that Matt Bellamy breathes really, really hard, and they don't edit it out in the Muse songs. I can never unhear that now. He was fools. Our love is an unlit script no one can memorize, redacted and revised. I'll let this search you, and I'll try to play along. it's really impressive the way that his voice and the melodies he sings are able to carry songs so well, because there's like not loads going on. There's some interesting stuff rhythmically with the drums and the bass and the synth kind of like almost tripping over themselves with the way it comes forward. It's kind of like comes out in these like pulses, you know? But his voice is just so dang charismatic. He just kind of carries you through these like really interesting melodies that fly up and down and hit some of those like high octave notes that only Matt Bellamy can do the way he does. Was that a Jurassic Park reference? A creature trapped in amber? Hey! Ooh. How many strings is that? Alright. I was not expecting this. I was expecting, in most cases, when they get really, really synthy, they kind of stay really, really synthy. This riff is building up to be fat. I really like the way that this guitar has been introduced. It's getting, like, quite hectic in the way it's building up. And the visual component is also doing quite a good job of making me feel like I'm about to get hit by a bus of guitar. Ooh. All right, that was great. I really like the way that came in there. Just like that, it was really, really musically complicated for a second. Then you had synth stuff kind of falling around at the same time that riff was kicking in. He's playing with what looks like a 12-string, maybe. I don't know what's going on there, but that riff was fat. The way it transitioned into there was lovely, and the layering was also excellent. Okay. Man, it's definitely got that, like, really epic feel to it, too. It almost... it's going to be embarrassing now because I won't be able to remember the name of it. What was the song they wrote that was, like, an unofficial James Bond song? Which I'm now going to have to look up. I think it was on Second Law, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, Supremacy. There you go. It's got a bit of that Supremacy feel to it. It was, like, very epic. You got synths kind of, like, flying out in the background whilst he's doing that, like... powerful rather than kind of like soft vocal delivery, but it's still really up there, which again is just something that, as far as I'm aware, Matt Bellamy is uniquely biologically equipped to be able to do. This is why you cannot cover Muse properly. You have to try completely different, because Matt Bellamy has got like different shaped vocal cords to the rest of us. Cool. Is it me, or does this verse feel a little bit more tight? I'm sure it's like an intentional thing that now that you've had this big rallying chorus, the next one's got a bit more urgency to it. I don't know if it's like a variation in the drum pattern maybe, or maybe his vocals are becoming a little bit less aimless in their direction, which is, again, nice. It's obviously an intentional detail, but this second verse feels more stabilized. Oh, that bass. Yes, okay. The variation on that sort of pre-chorus was like nice as well. It's not quite the same as the first one. They're again very good at that kind of thing, but they felt like a really natural transition there. I knew what I was expecting. I was waiting for that big anthemic chorus with that big synth line in the background. I'm a fan of this. This is growing on me. I saw in the description, or in some article I was looking up about this earlier, like, you know, returns with sort of wavy synths. I was like, okay. But it turns out it's like a nice mixture of wavy synths with some really rockin' guitar, and we appreciate that. Oh, it's the new guy. I don't think it's the most interesting chorus they've ever released from a vocal perspective, but just the way that the instruments interact with each other underneath that, specifically that synth line, it kind of dials back and just has this like almost kind of organ-like, almost church feel to it, the kind of way that it falls down and the tone of it and so on and so forth. It sits so nicely in that mix as well. It just combines and blends to make this such a crazy soundscape that it doesn't matter that the melody is like not as inspiring as some other parts of it, but it's okay because his voice absolutely is beautiful timbre-wise, and it fits in. It makes Muse who they are. But it's just the way that the balancing sits in this chorus at the moment, at least for me, is that synth line mixed in there is actually one of the more important components. Okay. Man, this is the heaviest I've heard Muse for a while. I mean, I know I've openly admitted to not having listened to the last two albums all that much, but this is like Origins of Symmetry level heavy. Little solo, nice. I like how all the synth lines have essentially dropped out for this bit as well, with the really letting the guitarists, the bass and Matt, etc., really shine forward. But it really it changes the thickness, the dynamic of this song quite a lot. It makes it feel like a fairly standardized sort of rock guitar solo for this particular bit, apart from the fact that he's like playing some slightly strange tones and doing Matt Bellamy things over them. There they are. I guess that's interesting. There's the whole lyric there. He's saying that this is the hymn, which again kind of relates a little bit to the the organ sort of feeling, the sort of slightly biblical feeling of that synth line coming in the background there. It definitely does have this almost like elatory sort of religious experience kind of feel to it. Ooh, the variation there was nice as well. It's the way that it's transitioned into that super heavy, like the second section with the drum space out. They go half time. There's more like I don't actually know what you call them, where you sort of fret scratch the chunk 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 chunk. It like makes me feel like I'm listening to like Slipknot or something significantly further down the metal scale than I am with Muse, which is very nice actually. Nice. Okay. Also, way more than I was promised in terms of lyric video. That was a pretty interesting to watch music video, to be honest. It was just, I don't know, it was just performance videos, but I guess those guys are just like very interesting to look at. Matt Bellamy, even though he often just sort of like sits there and looks concentrated, he's a very dynamic, interesting person to look at, and just watching that stupid massive guitar he's playing. So that was great. I really like that song, and that surpassed my expectations quite a lot. Muse are one of those bands I'd sort of just factored in that maybe I didn't like the newer direction. They just kind of like taken a style pivot towards slightly synth heavier stuff that just didn't appeal to me as much. It wasn't that it was bad, it's just not what I fell in love with Muse over. So it's really nice to see that kind of like blend, because don't get me wrong, some of their older synth stuff, like I still like stuff from Second Law. Like Madness is a good song. I just don't like it all being like that. But this like hybrid song here, where it's like, it feels like that's comparatively rare by Muse standards, to go between these like very synth heavy, like kind of layered up, interesting effects, heavy verses into just a really like traditionally heavy, hard rock guitar chorus with like a really nice solo in there and some fat riffs. That was great. That felt like a return to form almost. It makes me really want to go and see Muse. I will definitely be saving that one. Yeah, who knows? We'll have to have hope for the rest of the album. It's really nice to see these guys back producing stuff kind of on top of the game, because these Muse are so important to music history, especially English music history, even more especially Devon music history. So it's good to see them back doing what they like to do. Matt Bellamy hasn't completely lost the plot yet, apparently, which is a good thing. All said in love, I'm very fond of him as a character. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What did you guys think of Simulation Theory and What Other People? Those are the albums I paid the least amount of attention to, so let me know. Are they worth going back to? I'm not convinced, but maybe I will. But otherwise, let me know what you guys think of Unravelling in the comment section below. Follow me on the socials. That is always a good thing. Like, share, subscribe, all of that crazy stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.